What's up guys, Kazungu here and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Today, I'm going to be talking about the reissued Trials of the 9 sniper rifle, the Long Walk. I'm going to go over how to get this gun, how to farm it most efficiently, as well as its roles, and some damage comparisons to other current high-tier sniper rifles inside of Destiny 2 at the moment. Before we begin, however, if you liked this video or found it helpful, remember that a like and subscribe is greatly appreciated and it goes a long way to helping out my channel. Check me out on Twitch too if you feel like it. I really enjoy getting to stream some Destiny as well as some other games over there. And anyways, let's talk about the Long Walk. In this first section, I'm going to go over Long Walk and how to get it. So if you already know about how to farm this weapon and you just want to see a breakdown of roles and damage comparisons, skip to the timestamp on screen. I'm also going to leave that timestamp in the description down below. But let's go ahead and start talking about the sniper specifically. So for anyone who played Destiny 2 during Year 1, you'll probably remember the Long Walk, since it was one of the best sniper rifles for PvP at the time, having dropped from Trials of the 9. These weapons were left behind after Year 1 ended, and once again got left behind when sunsetting occurred in Beyond Light. But some of the Trials of the 9 weapons have been reissued with random roles in Season of the Lost, including the Long Walk. The Long Walk is dropping from the Prophecy dungeon, specifically from the first encounter with the Phalanx boss. Once you've gotten this weapon, you can get it on subsequent runs of the dungeon, but again, only from the Phalanx boss or the 2 hidden chests in the dungeon. However, if you just want the sniper rifle, you can choose to only farm the first encounter. We farmed for it by going into Prophecy, killing the Phalanx boss, and then grabbing our loot and resetting our checkpoint. You can get this farm done even faster by using a hunter with stompies and a sword to climb the first tube to get to the platform for the Phalanx encounter, and the other 2 players can then hit themselves with grenade launchers to cause a wipe, and then you can start the encounter after respawning. Also, if you know how to cleanse both dark and light plates at once in the encounter, then that'll make it even faster. Just jump really high into the air and cleanse between the 2 plates, break the barrier, and then drop well and spam your sword to kill the boss. Grab your loot and reset again. Easy as that. Now that you've got the sniper, what kind of stats and roles are you looking at? Well, this weapon is actually going to be fairly unique amongst sniper rifles. It's a 72 RPM solar sniper, but the unique parts come in the fact that it can get both overflow and then either firing line or frenzy. Me and my clanmates have had a lot of discussion of whether or not firing line or frenzy would actually be better, but I decided to do the math and put it into this video just so I could see which one was actually better. I managed to land one of these sniper rifles with tactical mag, overflow, and frenzy, but both of the roles using fireline and frenzy are actually quite good, albeit for different reasons. I just want to get that out of the way to begin with, but one I will say is more favorable by the end, and I'll explain why. I will also go ahead and say that if you've used Deepstone Crypt's Succession sniper rifle with reconstruction and then either recombination or Vorpal weapon, this thing is going to feel very familiar to you. But I will say that Succession does have higher total damage than either of these sniper rifles. I will also say that the overflow perk on this is a little bit less impactful than Succession's unique reconstruction perk, seeing as an ammo pickup is required to activate overflow. But I would also like to point out that currently, as of the making of this video, there's an unintended interaction between the perk Shoot to Loot and Overflow. If your Overflow weapon has an empty magazine and you shoot an ammo brick with your Shoot to Loot primary weapon, you could get a triple overflowed magazine like you see here. I have no confirmation yet of whether or not this is a bug, but I'm assuming it is and will be fixed sometime soon. If this is not a bug and it is in fact an intended interaction, keep this in mind because this will let you get a 12-round magazine in this sniper rifle. That is larger than any other sniper rifle currently in Destiny. That might make this thing just that much better. However, if we want to look at damage comparisons specifically, we need to take a look at both firing line and frenzy, because it is a bit closer than it would have been in the past. Because starting in Season of the Lost, firing line has been nerfed to be a 20% damage bonus on all weapon types. Frenzy, on the other hand, is a 15% buff after its nerf at the beginning of Season of the Splicer, and to activate Frenzy, you need to be in combat for 12 seconds, however you will also get a substantial buff to your handling and reload speed. In addition, you can also keep Frenzy stacked by shooting at immune enemies, such as a raid boss before the damage phase. The main reason that I think that these are pretty close is because even though Frenzy is weaker than Firing Line in terms of damage, Frenzy's reload speed buff can actually solve the reload speed problem that all 72 round per minute snipers fall victim to inside of endgame PvE. Starting with the total damages of each type, Long Walk with Overflow and Firing Line, with no mods equipped, hits for 27,032 per shot against our Lost Sector Servitor boss, and the one with Overflow and Frenzy hits for 25,529. Both hit for 22,527 without their respective damage perks activated, and by default, this weapon can only carry 17 shots, leading to Frenzy getting a total damage output of 433,993 and Firing Line landing a total damage of 459,544. This is only a 6% difference in total damage, so I don't think it's a huge deal which perk you opt for, but I will say that a Succession God roll actually beats both of these in terms of pure damage output, so if you're looking for max damage at all costs, just use Succession, and you could probably also just use Uzume RR4 if you need an energy sniper anyways. However, when we calculate the reload speeds for these two long walk rolls specifically, the Frenzy roll actually gets ahead of the Firing Line roll, since with Frenzy active, this sniper reloads at about 1.2 seconds, but it takes 3.1 seconds to reload without. To fire all shots, you'll have to reload 3 times. Assuming that you fire at the maximum possible fire rate of 72 rounds per minute, you will be firing at 1.2 rounds per second, so you would take 14.2 seconds to fire all of your shots with no reloads factored in, but with reloads factored in, you need 17.8 seconds to fire all of your shots with Frenzy, but you would need a whopping 23.6 seconds to reload fully with Firing Line. Resulting damage per second across one full reserve is 24,384 for Frenzy and 19,472 for Firing Line. This difference is actually pretty big since it is a 5,000 difference in DPS roughly, and the reload speed for the Firing Line roll does fail to match the DPS for the Frenzy roll. Keep in mind that Succession has a total damage output of 528,000, which is much higher than the Firing Line roll of Long Walk. However, the Frenzy roll of Long Walk does a lot more DPS than Succession, and as a result, is probably going to be better than the Firing Line roll, since if you needed the total damage that the Firing Line roll would offer to you, you could just use Succession instead. If you want to do DPS with a 72 RPM sniper, since they're much easier to land shots with due to their lower fire rate, the Frenzy roll is going to be much better since it absolutely smokes the Firing Line roll, and it also does much more DPS than Succession does. I think as a whole, it's just a much better idea to run Frenzy than Firing Line, since again, the Firing Line roll ends up being a poor man's Succession, but at least the Frenzy roll has a lot of DPS to offer. It does more DPS than Uzume RR4, which only has a 22,116 DPS. You're doing about 2,000 more than even Uzume. The only things that are going to do more DPS than this are going to be 140 RPM snipers like Praetor's Revenge and the Ikelos sniper, but those have laughably low total damage. So this roll will actually let you get pretty close to the best of both worlds in terms of DPS and overall damage output for a sniper rifle. I think it's probably one of the best ones for PvE going forward, and any PvE endgame player should definitely try and pick one up, given that it's really, really easy to farm, and it's pretty good. It also has a very small perk pool, so getting a good one is not very, very difficult compared to other sniper rifles like the Uzume, which also have a loot rotation to take into account and things like that, or the Frozen Orbit, which has 12 perks in each pool and only drops from Crucible. Speaking of Crucible, I haven't actually gotten a good long walk for PvP yet, but slide shot with either snapshot or moving target and high caliber rounds, hammerforged rifling, and a ranged masterwork sounds like it'd be absolutely disgusting. I hate to leave the PvP portion of the video so bare bones, but I really haven't gotten a chance to use one in PvP yet. But again, like I said, it was really good in year 1 for trials and such. It has those same perks on it now. If you get something similar to that, you could get a really, really strong sniper out of here. In conclusion, though, Long Walk is really, really strong, with Overflow and Frenzy actually letting it have the highest DPS of any 72 RPM sniper that isn't Whisper of the Worm, since the reload speed issue that these snipers usually run into is completely bypassed by Frenzy. Also, the fact that it's in the energy slot means it doesn't have to compete with something like Succession and could let you run some of the new stasis primaries, or an exotic primary in your kinetic slot, given that those now have increased to the ammo drop rates on Finder mods, which again is really useful for Overflow since this thing has Overflow. I expect that I'll be using my Long Walk for a very long time going forward. However, that's all I have for this weapon review, so if you liked the video or found it helpful, remember to leave a like and subscribe if you'd like some more videos, and check out my Twitch channel below if you're interested in catching some of my live streams, and let me know in the comments down below what you think of the new version of the Long Walk. This has been Kazungu, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Later, everybody.